the Ministry of Education, Student Support Services Division, Guidance and Counseling Unit, Northeastern Education District presents.
Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Orr and I'm so happy to be here with you today as we talk about It's a New Normal, exploring our feelings during this pandemic and helping us to prepare for the new term. Now we know that COVID-19 is happening, but let's talk about it, how we can protect ourselves, how we feel and ways to cope. We have 4 different things that we'll be covering, so let's stay on board. It's time to change. COVID-19 has changed our habits, our daily routines, and our lives, but there's change coming. Today we can look at positive ways to cope as we start the new term. Our first activity is real news or fake news. Let's play. Identify what is a true story or what is fake news, because you can't believe everything you hear. Question number 1. Your liver pumps blood around your body. True story or fake news? If you guess fake news, that's correct. Next question. Your tongue is the only muscle that is attached at only one end. Think about it. Your tongue is the only muscle that is attached at one end. True story or fake news? True story. Next question. Sound travels much slower through water than through air. This is a tricky one. The correct answer is fake news. It's actually much faster through water. Next question. There are more than 200 muscles in one human body. And the correct answer for that is true story. And our last question. The 21st letter of the alphabet is the letter V. True story or fake news? The correct answer is fake news. So, as we begin our session, we'll be looking at ways to define and to explore what is coronavirus or COVID-19. The world as we know it has changed. A crisis is happening. What is it?
Hello, my name is Coronavirus. I'm sure you've heard my name before, but you may not know an awful lot about me. I'm really, really small. Even if you used a microscope, you wouldn't be able to see me. And there are lots and lots of copies of me. Can you guess how many copies of me would fit onto the end of a tiny pin? Well, the answer is millions and millions. Viruses like me are all over the world. Lots of us live on skin or clothes or toys, and most of them don't do any harm. But some of us, like my cousin's flu and common cold, do sometimes make people a bit sick. When I make someone feel sick, they have a disease called COVID-19. I'm all over the news and social media at the moment. It's important to remain calm and sensible. You may hear a lot of silly stories about me online or rumors about me from a friend. So let me introduce myself with some facts. I love traveling. I jump from person to person through coughs, sneezes and touch. When I come to visit, I might make you feel hot and start coughing. None of these things are very nice and can make some people very sick. But I don't hang around for long, and almost everyone gets better. To help make everyone safer, make sure that you wash your hands with soap and water often for at least 20 seconds. Cover your mouth and nose with a tissue or your sleeve when you sneeze or cough. Achoo! Try not to touch your eyes, mouth or face. Don't touch other people. This means no handshakes, no hugs, and no high fives. Also, Remember that older people are more likely to be sick when I'm around. So, to keep your grandparents and others extra safe, be really careful around them. If you feel hot or start coughing, make sure to tell whoever is looking after you. If you follow this advice, I'll stay away and less people will be sick.
So, boys and girls, we learned about the coronavirus. And in order to deal with it, we have to be super duper safe. How have your family been keeping safe? What are you doing? Now, there are different ways we can protect ourselves. As I said in the video, we have to stay indoors and we have to keep our distance from others when we go outside. We have to keep our objects and surfaces clean, wash our hands for 20 seconds at least, and do it very often. And we are not supposed to touch our eyes, nose, and mouth. We are supposed to have our face mask on. Now, we can feel many different ways. Some persons may feel happy, sad, surprised, afraid, or angry. We may have all these many different feelings. But I want you to think about how you feel about these. Using a computer or tablet or phone to do your schoolwork, how does that make you feel? Not seeing your friends. When you think about the coronavirus, how you feel? Being at home, spending time with your family, and wearing a face mask. Think about how these things make you feel, because these are some of the changes from the coronavirus. But no matter how we feel, we have to remember that all feelings, good and bad, are normal. So, we are going to talk about a new term, coping. We all can cope. And what does cope mean? Cope means to deal with something or to attempt to overcome problems and difficulties. It's trying, even when a bad thing happens, to make the best out of it. And all of us should be coping during this pandemic. So let's look at ways that we can cope the right way. We can talk to someone who we trust about our feelings, our parents, our teachers, or even a guidance officer or a family friend. Share how you feel. Take a deep breath in and out to calm down. We can tell ourselves that it's going to be okay rather than thinking that the worst is going to happen. We could ask about changes ahead of time. So we could really start thinking and asking our mommy, what will happen if this happens? Mommy, what will happen if this happens? So we got to start thinking about the changes. We can also think that some of the change may be good. And then find ways to relax. We can exercise, listen to nice music, and we can draw and play. These are good ways to cope. Another thing that we can do is, when you're back into school, as we are right now, don't forget to ask Miss questions or your teacher questions. Have respect, show everyone love, go to bed on time, stay active, eat your fruits and vegetables, and drink your water. And follow your timetable. Every day is a day that you have to do schoolwork. You can be an excellent student at home. When it's time for class and you're doing your work, have your tools. Your pencils must be there, your rulers must be there. Do your work properly, write it neatly. And make sure that you do your work on time. Don't leave it to back up. And read and listen always. So spend time doing your reading and listen to what Miss says. Also, if you are having online classes, remember that you must sign in and do it early. Dress properly for class and mute your mic when you're not speaking. You can do your work in a quiet place and listen properly. And also remember that you need to have your camera on and not do anything negative to distract Miss, and look properly at the screen. So as we close, today we spoke about how we can cope during a pandemic. And these are some ways that we can remember. We need to have a positive attitude. have safe practices such as making sure we wash our hands, social distance, and make sure that we have our surfaces clean. And with good study habits, making sure that you do work every day and study hard, we can have a great and successful term ahead. So let's remember to stay positive, stay safe, and study hard. There's a lady that says, if you don't like something, change it. But if you can't change it, you can change the way you think about it. So even when we can't change the pandemic, we can change how we think about it. So, as we end our session, let's see how much you remember. You will have an evaluation that will be sent to you, and I want you to answer the questions that are asked. So the first question is, circle or click the correct picture to help us remember how to keep safe. And we have a list of pictures, and you would circle based on the questions which is the correct answer. Then you have to identify how you feel when you read each of the different phrases. How you feel about the coronavirus, eating your favorite snack, seeing your school friends, wearing a mask. How do you feel when you do well in tests, doing all your schoolwork now at home, moving up to a new standard, and using a computer, tablet, or phone to do your schoolwork? And the last question I want you to answer is, write one way for you to cope with the changes in your life. Changes that are happening now. What is one way that you can cope based on what we shared in this session? So, thank you for listening, boys and girls. If you have any questions or if something is bothering you, remember you always have a guidance officer who's ready to listen. Let your teacher know so that we can connect. And we have a guidance hotline that you can call 331-4933, and there is a public inquiries email address that you can send for student support services guidance officers. As we end, I wish you all the best. Let's stay safe, stay positive, and work hard. Bye-bye.